The confidential Ledger Marco Sr. founded the corporation with a vision built on discipline, legacy, and public trust. For decades, his name commanded respect. When age finally slowed him down, leadership quietly shifted to his son Marco Jr., now the acting president. But behind the polished boardrooms and carefully worded press releases, Marco Jr. was bleeding the company dry. With the help of his closest ally Marty, the finance manager, and Zalby, the chief accountant Marco Jr. perfected a system of corruption. Funds were transferred to personal accounts disguised as payments to suppliers. Fake invoices, inflated costs, and ghost transactions became routine. It was a profitable side hustle, and the three men protected one another with silence and signatures. Sarahi's donation. Sarahi stood apart. One day, she proposed a large-scale donation program for public schools, poor students, and struggling families. The board approved an initial Philippine peso 100 million fund. Sarahi personally went into communities, handing cash directly to families who had nothing. One family received only $1,000, yet even that amount changed their lives. Trying to protect herself, Sarahi requested receipts or written acknowledgement. But the families had nothing, no printers, no paperwork, no formal documents. Sensing her worry, one elderly man spoke calmly. "Why don't you label it as confidential funds? If it's confidential, no one will ask where it went." Sarahi hesitated, but the logic was sound. She labeled the donations confidential humanitarian assistance, and millions quietly benefited. The confrontation back at headquarters, Zalby and Marty summoned Sarahi. "Where's the documentation?" they demanded. "Where did the money go?" Sarahi answered honestly. "It was donated. Poor families don't issue receipts. The funds were confidential." That was when the tone changed. Arguments erupted, accusations flew. Zalby and Marty accused Sarahi of misappropriation and eventually filed a case against her, threatening, "Once the boss returns, we will impeach you." The trip and the death at the same time. Marco Jr. traveled to the United States on an official business trip, accompanied by his wife and a close associate. A day later, tragedy struck. De Paulo was found dead from a drug overdose. The incident shocked Marco and his wife and drew unwanted attention. Furious and shaken, they immediately returned home only to find the corporation already spiraling toward chaos. Vic versus Zara inside the company, a quiet war was brewing. Vic, a hard-working personnel, applied for a supervisor position. His main competitor was Zara-favored employee, backed heavily by Marco Jr., Zalby and Marty. Zara wasn't just favored, she was involved. Vic uncovered evidence that Zara was part of ghost projects, inflated procurement, and fake materials. He filed a formal complaint and sued Zara, exposing her collaboration with Zalby, Marty, and Marco Jr. The first official investigation was launched. And Vic wasn't alone. The Whistleblowers' Vic's close ally, Mr. Magashort, a provincial manager, spoke publicly. "All materials are cheap," Magashort said, "but they're being labeled as premium to siphon money." Media outlets dug deeper. Old interviews resurfaced Sarah, bragging on television about multiple houses and luxury cars. But despite being only a rank-and-file employee at the time, social media exploded. News coverage intensified. Everyone knew now. Vic and Magashort started it all. Marco's masterstroke panicked. Marco Jr. met with Zalby and Marty. "We need a distraction," Marco said. "I'll go on TV. I'll say I'm against corruption." The plan was ruthless. Zalby would be sent abroad, quietly made the fall guy. He would never return. The next day, Marco Jr. appeared on national television. "I am exposing corruption in this company. I will investigate everyone involved. I will never stop." Employees applauded. The public praised him. Many believed him. Sarahi's questioned, but Sarahi did not. She stood up in a meeting and asked the question no one dared to voice. If Marco is not involved, why is his signature on every released check? He is the final signatory. No money moves without his approval. Silence followed. That silence scared them. The attempted impeachment, instead of answering her question, they turned on her. Accusations were revived. Her donation was reframed as theft. Her integrity was questioned. Papers were prepared. They would impeach Sarah not because she was guilty, but because she was dangerous. And as the investigation crept closer to the truth, one thing became clear: in a company built on legacy, the greatest threat was not corruption, it was honesty.